Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be about whether or not a narcissist can actually change. And there is a yes/no answer to this question, because yes, everybody is capable of change, and narcissistic people will change on you all the time. They sell you an illusion of who they are, and then they alter into somebody that you don't know, that you don't understand, that you can't get to grips with. No, they do not change for the better. The more chances we give them, the more they exploit those chances, the more they exploit us, the more they take advantage of those chances. It's tricky though, because narcissistic people give you that false hope of change. They give you that expectation that they might change this time, that this time they get it, this time they understand, this time they'll go back into who they sold themselves to be. They give you a desire that if you just hold on a little bit longer, all will be okay. However, it never works out that way. They give you the self-belief that you're the one that's made them change on you, so you change yourself to serve them, to get them to change back into who they said they would be. However, because who they said they'd be is not who they are, this rarely to never happens, only temporarily to meet a need of the narcissist's own. We have to accept people for who they are. We have to accept them for who they are and realize it is not our job to change anybody. We shouldn't be looking for the narcissist to change. We should be looking to change direction away from them. We shouldn't be looking to them to change. However, this is very, very difficult. It's difficult to accept them for who they are, because they sell you an illusion of who they could be. They misrepresent themselves. They lead you into a false belief of the person they claim themselves to be, and then they change on you and show you who they are, but they do it in such a manipulative way that they blame you, and then they give you just enough hope that if you change to serve them, they will change into who they sold themselves to be. It's a very confusing place to live, because while you're living it, you don't see what's happening to you. You're the one left full of self-doubt. You're the one left confused. You're the one left frustrated. You're the one left reacting out. You're the one left doubting and blaming yourself. You're the one left full of shame. And the narcissist is usually validating these negative feelings within you, unjustly accusing you and blaming you, because within the narcissist mindset, they don't believe they do no wrong. They believe they're always right. Therefore, they're going to make out that you're the one that's in the wrong. Because you can recognize behaviors you don't like within yourself, because you can admit to fault, because you do have compassion for other people, you take on board their gaslighting, their manipulation, and question yourself and not them. Because you have the compassion, you try to work out ways to help them change for the better, not realizing that they don't want to change for the better. They already believe they are the best. They genuinely believe they are the best. And if they're not going to be the best, they're going to be the victim. It's not going to be their fault. Therefore, they don't see a reason to change. In order to change who we are, we usually have to learn from past mistakes, or we have some form of trauma that sends us in a direction of change. Narcissists don't learn from their mistakes. Any trauma they receive, they believe to be someone else's fault, so they're not going to change who they are. They've been programmed to be that way for a long time. You didn't change them. It's hard to wrap our heads around this when they're gaslighting and manipulating and blaming us. We did not change them. They changed on us. They sold us who they could be based on who we would like them to be. And then once they got us where they wanted us, they change to who they are while blaming us. It's a repeat pattern of behaviour with narcissistic people. It's beliefs that they've formed within their mind over a long period of time that's created their identity, their sense of self. They're incredibly arrogant people. They have an exaggerated sense of their own importance, their own sense of self. They behave in very haughty manners. They are unpleasantly proud of who they are as a person. They can be grandiose, that sense of self-importance, believing they're better than all others. They're preoccupied with getting what they want, with getting their own way. They're conditioned to get their own way. They lack empathy. They lack the compassion to care for how they affect those around them. They believe they're special. They believe they're better than all others. They require excessive attention. They need to be taken notice of in one way or another. They exploit people. They use people to their full advantage in extremely unfair ways. They're envious of others. They hold a lot of resentment towards others. They lack empathy. They seek to destroy those they are envious of, or they seek to take from those what they are envious of. And they're incredibly entitled people. They believe they are inherently deserving of what they are envious of. They believe that somebody's stolen it from them, so they should be able to just go in there and take it back from the other person, even though they haven't earned it for themselves. And this is a pattern of beliefs that, for whatever reason, whether it's because they believe life works that way for them, or whether they're trying to run from some form of hidden trauma, whatever it is, these patterns of behaviour, this belief system has been formed, it's been made over a prolonged period of time to create who they are as a person. And they will change who they are as a person to exploit another person, to get away with their behaviour, so they don't have to face the consequences for their behaviour. They will play the victim very well because they genuinely believe they are the victim. They believe somebody else made them do it. A narcissist will tell you that nobody can make you do anything, yet they will blame you for making them do something. It'd take some heavy amount of trauma to get them to change out of that belief system that they've created, that identity that they've created. And usually because they're trying to hold on to that identity as much as they can, no matter how much trauma hits them, they're not going to let go of that identity, because that identity is what is keeping them grounded. Those beliefs is what's keeping them in their bubble of who they are. And more often than not, it works for them, because they gain enablers, they gain flying monkeys, they gain supporters. People stay around to change. People stay around out of fear of what the narcissist might do. Narcissists rule out of love or out of fear to gain control over you. As narcissists, more often than not, shift the blame over to somebody else. They see no reason to change. They believe you need to change. If they're not getting what they want from you, they might temporarily, manipulatively change on you until they extract what they want from you, and then they resort back to being who they are, and they believe it's your fault because they will come at you with things like, you know what I'm like. Yet we don't know what they're like, because they're manipulating us, they're gaslighting us, they're changing events on us, they're creating environments to confuse us. They're showering us with attention, and then they're withdrawing that attention. They're showering us with support, then they're withdrawing that support. They're love bombing us, and then they're neglecting us. They're creating such a confusing atmosphere while blaming us for the atmosphere they're creating for us. We don't see this because we're that busy blaming and questioning and doubting ourselves and not them. We're too busy trying to help them rather than accept them for who they are as a person. We're too busy trying to bring back the good in them because we're busy looking at the good in them rather than seeing the bad in them, the manipulative within them. Some self-aware narcissists can learn to manage their either instinctive or intentional behaviour, depending on the narcissist you're dealing with. They can learn to manage it, but it's something they have to do for themselves. They're not going to do it for another person unless they want to do it for another person for themselves. So if a narcissist was to fear losing a relationship with anybody, a child, a partner, a parent, a friend, if they was to fear losing that relationship and they can't temporarily change to gain it back, they might try to manage their behaviour, but first they've got to admit fault within their own behaviour, which many aren't going to do. They're just going to turn around and blame the person that they're changing for. So that change is usually temporary. Narcissistic people do not change who they fundamentally are, their core beliefs, their core values, the things that they keep hidden from you. Narcissists don't change who they fundamentally are for anyone. Narcissists change on the surface level to manipulate someone. They change the outer there. They change their hobbies. They change their partners. They change the lies. They change the stories. They change events. They change reality. They change things that you saw. They change history. They change on a surface level to meet a need of their own, to exploit people, to take advantage of people unfairly, either covertly, where it's subtle and it's hidden, or overtly, but it's still done with a lot of gaslighting, so we don't see what they're actually doing. Narcissists are very good at reinventing themselves to how they believe they should behave in order to manipulate someone, to take advantage of someone, whatever that narcissist is wanting to gain, whether they're wanting to gain an ally, a supporter, an enabler, whether they're wanting to prove that they're not the one with the problem. They're very good at reinventing themselves to suit other people, to manipulate other people. And once they've manipulated that other person, they revert back to who they fundamentally are. They only change for a limited time, temporarily, to meet a need of their own. It's very difficult to recognise when we are living it, but we have to have that radical acceptance. We have to learn to accept them for who they are and not who they sold themselves to be. Narcissistic people are major con artists. They will sell you your dreams, your biggest dreams, your biggest desires, and then they will deliver you your worst nightmares while blaming you for making your nightmares coming true, and claiming that if you just do something a little bit different, they'll change into who they sold themselves to be, which they might do temporarily. But again, it's just to exploit, just to take advantage. They don't change who they fundamentally are. They only change to serve themselves. If anyone has any thoughts on this video, please do add those into the comments. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers and your continued support with the channel. If you are new to the channel, I'm Elizabeth Shaw. This channel is all about the narcissist personality disorder, to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with in your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot give no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to help you understand and overcome narcissistic and emotional abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, then please do subscribe. If you are looking for further support and understanding and help overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse, I do have several online guides available, and those teachable links are in the video description. If you're looking for someone to speak to, I have partnered with BetterHelp, and their sponsored link is also in the video description. Go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.